Hello everyone! In this video we're going to be decorating an apartment for a graphic designer, which I was thinking was specifically interested in typography. So first I pulled all of those items that I felt looked like lettering. So there's lots of signs from cafes from Get Together or from the base game. There's the book posters from the Book Nook kit. And there's those living paintings that I really love. So once that I have done that, I started to do some simple floor planning because I wanted this to be a very spacious kind of fancy apartment, but still kind of eclectic and creative. So it's only going to have one bedroom, one bathroom, and a studio, and the rest of it is going to be open concept. I also did add some platforms to separate some of these spaces. So we're going to be having the kitchen in this back corner, and then I made a sort of sunken living room on the other side of that big room, and then I created some sort of big stairs with some platforms. We're also going to be adding a dining room, and first I'm going to be adding some wallpaper and some floorings, and I actually cut out a lot of that footage because in this apartment I had one thing that had never happened to me, which was that I just couldn't choose any wallpapers or floorings that I liked. So I ended up cutting very large sections of the footage. So you can see that I am using this wallpaper with triangles from Dream Home Decorator, and also some really beautiful wallpaper that almost looks like tiles from the Decor to the Max kit. I really like this because they were very simple and very graphic, and there was some texture, so I could add some stuff in front of it, but since there wasn't any color, it wouldn't really clash. So here I made this small gallery wall in this coffee nook area, and I added some of those signs from cafes from Get Together, as well as some coffee signage, and some really cute little paintings as well. I also added those curtains from City Living, and you might notice that this was something that I built a while ago, before we even had the window update. So I wasn't able to move any of the windows, and that created some really interesting situations with the layout. But now I have added that dining table and also a small island in here. It's actually kind of clipping because I didn't want it to be so huge, but I also didn't want it to be as thin as it is when you only add one row of counters. I also made a sectional in this area. It is really huge, and I really liked how it turned out. It ends up being actually bigger than it is right now. But then I also added some paintings as well as that frame TV, which I really liked how it blended in with the rest of the wall art. And next to it I added a door that led into the office, and I picked this one from Get Together. It's supposed to be for clubs, but I really liked how it had a painting palette and a paintbrush. So I felt that it was perfect for this kind of apartment. And I actually really liked that blue as well. It matches that painting that I was using on that other wall. And then I just added some more stuff around it. I actually have two of the same clock in here, but I didn't really mind that. And then I added some doors from Dream Home Decorator because I didn't want to add the same door in other places of this apartment, because each of these get-together doors has a different icon and different colors. So I felt that it would be a bit weird if I did that. But now I just added a nice rug for this area. It's actually from the base game, and it only adds some texture, and it's actually underneath those platforms, so it looks like this area is carpeted, but it really isn't. And then next to it I added this music nook. You can really tell that I worked on this shortly after the Modern Lux kit came out, because I am using a lot of those items. I really love them, and I was kind of thinking of how I would like my dream apartment to be like, since I am a graphic designer and I am especially interested in illustration and typography. So I really try to combine some of my interests. So there's a lot of mid-century modern furniture, but it's also kind of eclectic because I liked the freedom of being able to use a lot of colors. And whenever I have a blank wall, I always think, how much art can I add to it, as well as how many bookcases I can have in that space. So I really love that bookcase, and so I am using it right by the door. But once we work on that office area, you're going to see that there's a ton of books and some collectibles and such in there. But first, we're going to be finishing that hallway area, and then we're going to be working on this bedroom, which was kind of a challenge. I I'm not really happy with how it turned out, actually. I think there's things that I would have done differently now. Watching this footage back was interesting because, as I said, it is a few months old. And I think that I have become a better builder, and I have also learned to not jump back from one area to the other as much. I really try not to do that, but sometimes it's inevitable. But yeah, I have this very weird walk-in closet in this area. It's a weird layout, and then I just added some more seating and a vanity, as well as some plants on top of the closet because why not? And then here in this actual bedroom area, I am using this beautiful bed from City Living. I really liked how it fits with the furniture from the kit. I also loved how it looks like it's all knitted and so cozy, so I felt that it was the perfect bed for this space. And then I am just furnishing this area with more items from that kit that I have mentioned is everywhere. And then I added the fireplace from the Decor to the Max kit, which I felt really went well with this Modern Lux kit. At the moment, I am not using a very nice wallpaper in that area. I think this is the one from the Book Nook kit. But I did change that out. It is a much nicer one. But watching this footage back was very surprising for me because some of the decisions that I made back then are decisions that I probably wouldn't make at the moment, with all the items that I have now that I didn't have back then, as well as what I have learned from building and decorating spaces in The Sims twice a week for the past several months now. But yeah, I actually did like how this looks, and while I was building it, I was thinking about what my dream apartment would be like. And looking at it now, there's things that I would actually want in my dream apartment, but there's others that I probably would have done very differently. I do think that my dream apartment wouldn't have these super high ceilings, but I did like how that allowed me to have things like the hanging plants from Nifty Knitting and those leaning paintings on top of the kitchen cabinets. And yeah, in general, I think that I would like to actually to have this apartment. I did like how the study is, and actually this bathroom is really fancy. It would actually allow you to have a toddler in this space if you wanted to, I don't know, convert the walk-in closet into their bedroom, or to have a dog. You could also bathe the dog in there. But anyway, here we're going to be adding another gallery wall. I am using stuff from the Modern Lux kit, from Decor to the Max, and just adding a few more items in here, as well as a clock. I really like adding clocks to gallery walls. They are very good at filling up tiny spaces that you might have. But I also decided to change out the chair for this one from Decor to the Max, which I felt matched the style and the colors a lot better. And then I changed the color of the wallpaper in two of these walls, and I felt that that made this whole bedroom finally make sense. But anyway, now we're going to be working in this office. Here is where a lot of those paintings that I had pulled from the catalog end up being. I decided to have two desks in here, so I was thinking that the computer desk would be also for digital art, as well as some graphic design and maybe book design, which is another thing that I really love. So I added some of the books from the Book Nook kit, which show off those beautiful covers, because I was thinking that this sim would probably have been the designer for those. I also added a drawing table in here, because that's something that I find realistic if you are somebody who works a lot with physical mediums. And then I also made this sort of chalkboard wall. For a time, my brother lived in a place that had this kind of chalkboard paint, and I found it very interesting and very fun to have. It's not like a perfect chalkboard, so it is limited, but I really liked how it looked, and I added some of the graffiti from Get Together so that it looked like it was actually being used. And I added, as I had mentioned, a ton of those bookcases in here. I also have some of these other signs that look like they have some writing in them, and I added more of those leaning paintings. I think I used most of the swatches of that item in here, but I felt that it looked well in this space. At least it made sense to me. And I also wanted to have a chair in here, so I am using the one from Eco Lifestyle, which is made from what looks like recycled sacks of whatever. And since those had some lettering, I decided that it would be a cool funky item to have in here, because I was thinking that this is a pretty eclectic space, so I thought that it fit well in here, and then I am just adding some more office clutter as well as some collectibles. I am using these from the Discover University expansion, and there's one that looks like very graphic, it's just black and white, and there's another one that looks like it has been painted with lots of rainbow colored paints. So I really love that, and then I am just finishing with the cluttering of this desk, which I know myself, and I know that even if I had this really cool office with lots of storage, I would still have a very cluttered desk. But yeah, I am just adding some more items in here, some more lighting. I am also adding these beautiful paintings from Eco Lifestyle, which is one of those items that I really love in the game, and I just needed to add them in this space. And I also wanted to have an easel in here. I am adding this very simple one from the Discover University expansion, which is actually an unlockable, but I really like how it looks like a modern, simple easel. It's not as complicated or as fancy as the other ones that we have in the game. But yeah, I am just finishing adding some more clutter, some more statues. I was really going for that look of this team is just always looking for unique items and they just add them anywhere in their house. So it is kind of cluttered, but it has a lot of personality and it does look somewhat cohesive. But yeah, now I'm just adding one of those design boards that we have in the game, and it is actually blocking part of the window, which is something that I would not have done if we had already had the window update. But yeah, now I have added that, I have added a room divider, some other little decorations, and that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to download this build, it is going to be on the gallery under my ID, which is Perennial. And also, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you left a like. And if you're interested in watching more of these builds, I do post twice a week. But yeah, that's really it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.